Call Haloyim Yahweh, Bahasham, Hamashiach Yahushai, Bahasham Rakakwadash, Barakatham, Shalom. This is your fellow servant Tazawar from the GMS Orlando camp here with another lesson. First, I want to start off by giving all glory, honor, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, whom rule well and from whom we learn His truth. Shalom to Yakim who are not in GMS but are pushing likewise doctrine in spirit and in truth with all sincerity. To you few sisters that are listening and learning, as well as you speckled birds who are scattered among the nations, looking like those nations, to the 144,000 elect men and the rest of the hopeful elect, to you I say, Shalom. This is part 2, all right, to Don't Kill My Vibe, right? Going into the power of the tongue, right? So this is part 2, and we left off in Matthew, the 18th chapter, right? Speaking on if a brother, and this applies to the Akwath too, right? If the Akim or Akwath offend, you're supposed to let them know, right? But as I was saying previously, you can tell a lot about the spirit of a person by how they take correction or rebuke, or you airing your grievances, however you want to frame it, right? You're supposed to communicate these things to one another. Whatever title you want to put on it, you're supposed to use words to let somebody know when you offended, right? And, like I was saying, sometimes when we went into, what that was, James, right? The 3rd chapter, speaking on how strong the tongue is. It's a small member, but it's very powerful. Hey, you ever heard that saying in the world? You got to read the room, right? That goes into being circumspect. Okay? Being circumspect. And so you have to try to gauge people's spirit when you're around them. All right? Now, sometimes that can be challenging for some people. I'm still exercising my powers of discernment, sending up, petitions to the Lord to improve that virtue, but that being intuitive, all right, and having that level of discernment is also another virtue that I forgot to mention in video 1, that you Akim and Akwa should be asking for, all right, along with the temperance and meekness, long suffering, and kindness, and all those things, charity, right? That discernment, man, it's a key thing, because that carries over into how you read, break down, and understand the scriptures, how you can receive the word when the Akim are pushing the word, teaching and preaching on the highways and byways. All right. And there's a lot out here, a lot of snares out here that can catch you, right? If you don't have, good discernment. And that has to be given. That's a virtue that has to be given. Right? So you have to petition for that. Okay? And if the Lord sees fit, he'll grant it to you. And if not, then hey, you just kind of got to do the best you can. All right? Um I'm going to read Matthew 18 and 15 on down again. Just it's where we left off. Matthew 18 and 15, it says, "Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother. But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee one or two more, that in the mouth of two or three witnesses every word may be established. And if he shall neglect to hear them, tell it unto the church. But if thy neglect to hear, but if he neglect to hear the church, let him be unto thee as an heathen man and a publican." Right? So you see, even here, there's levels to this thing, right? But as I was saying, sometimes all of this could happen in one full sweep, right? It just depends on how the Lord dealing with you. And that's also contingent on the type of offense it is, right? So let's go to Psalms 141 and start at 1. All right. Go back and read James or listen to video 1 and look at that James chapter 3. All right. This right here. I'm going to read this in the NLT as well. I believe I read James 3 in the NLT. I'm going to read this in the NLT. This is Psalms chapter 141. We start at 1. It says, "A Psalm of David. I am calling to you. Please hurry. Listen when I cry to you for help. Accept my prayer as incense offered to you, and my upraised hands as an evening offering. Take control of what I say, O Lord, and guard my lips. Don't let me drift toward evil or take part in acts of wickedness. Don't let me share in the delicacies of those who do wrong. Let the godly strike me. It will be a kindness. If they correct me, it is soothing medicine. Don't let me refuse it. But I pray constantly against the wicked and their deeds." Right? And so this is the mindset we should be in. Right? This verse 5 right here. Actually, verse 3 and 5. Okay? I'm going to read that in the KJV. Verse 3 says, Set a watch, O Lord, before my mouth. Keep the door of my lips. Right? Incline not my heart to any evil thing, to practice wicked works with men that work iniquity, and let me not eat of their dainties. Let the righteous smite me. It shall be a kindness, and let him reprove me. All right? It shall be an excellent oil, right? Which shall not break my head. For yet my prayer also shall be in their calamities. All right? And so this is how we should be thinking. Again, if you really sincerely believe that you're amongst men of the Lord, potential men of the Lord, right? Or that the Lord is dealing with you, dealing with the men that are out here pushing the word on the highways and byways, and they rebuke your ass, you supposed to take that as a kindness, because it is. Again, as I stated in video 1, this flesh, these men are just vessels that the Lord is using at the time to reprove you, which is ultimately, like the brother Damawati always bring out that verse about the dross being purged out, right? Uh, the dross, the silver, the tin being pulled out of the silver, right? The brother Rakaya always speaks of, and Nahali too, always speak of the refinery that we have to go through as men to get that, like when you put gold in the furnace, right? Or pull the impurities out. You heat it to the point where it liquefies and all of the trash metal, the junk metal burn off. And then when you start to, you can see yourself in that liquid gold. It gets so shiny like a mirror. That's when you know you're getting down to the pure, right? So the Lord puts people around you, right, of like mind, that Lord willing have more experience, right, that reprove you for your growth, to purge out that dross. All right. It's all for our edification, which goes into the building up of the temple. Right? So yeah, let the righteous smite thee. And again, it's not a thing about back and forth. All right. When you look at that word righteous, or as it says in the NLT, let the godly strike me, let the righteous strike me. It's talking about righteous in spirit and intent, right? Because none of us are perfect. We're all of our righteousness is as filthy rags. So don't get it twisted. It's not, if a brother call you out for doing something, you ain't supposed to be like, oh, well, last week you was doing such and such. Nah, it ain't a tit for tat. You know, like James 3 was saying, we all like offend. We all make mistakes, right? We all go off. That's the condition of the battle. That's the one of the struggles of being in this flesh, not having our perfect bodies, right? Not having our perfect bodies, man. Okay? So it's not a pissing contest. And again, the Lord does rounds, man. Sometimes, hey, 1 week might be your week, and all the brothers just on your head, just, you know, that's because at that time, that was the appointed time for you to receive that word. The week before or the following week might be another brother turn. But that's the purpose of a body, man. That's what a brotherhood is about. That's the true essence of family anyway. They supposed to tell your ass the uncomfortable truth, right? And you supposed to be like, oh, damn. Even when you don't want to hear that shit. And it's going to be days where you don't want to hear the shit. But you got to check your own spirit too. Right? It should be no ego in this thing. That's what I'm saying. Nobody's above reproof. All right? Officer side and all of that. Because we're all men. Right? But these people are righteous in spirit, not in deed. Right? The scriptures say there will be no guile in their mouth. Right? Well, if these brothers have pure intent, right? And their intent is to get you to grow so you can add to the temple. Hey, that's a beautiful thing. But again, even when you making bricks, right? You got to send the bricks through the fire, man, or they don't get cured. You can't have no just bricks. Got to cook, right? In the ancient world, we used to put the straw in there, set them out in the sun to get cooked, Right? Well, this day and age, what? They take the clay, they put it in a form, and then they send it through a furnace and fire the bricks, man. That's how. So either way, whether you and we are clay. That's cold. We are clay. So for us to be usable, right? For us to be worthy, to be qualified to be a part of the temple, so that we can be built up, so we can receive edification and give it. You gotta go through the furnace, man. You got to. All right, let's go back to James real quick, right fast. James, this time we want chapter 5. I just want one verse. Let's get 20. Right? It says, let him know that he which converteth the sinner from the error of his way shall save a soul from death and shall hide a multitude of sins. Right? So you know how Jake be like, you know, you give a brother a little charity on the slide, and you might slide him a couple dollars. He be like, no, Jay, I'm good. Hey, don't be blocking my blessings, man. It's the same thing when Akim are correcting you. When they scolding your ass and they reproving you, right? When you go off and they snatch your ass out of sin, that's them. So you don't want to be blocking their blessings by being an asshole, right? Either way, the blood is off their hands. The blood is off their hands either way. It's up to you. How about Shimmy, how Shai, if you're going to accept it or not, right? Because ultimately the Lord controls everything on the left side and the right. On the right side and the left, Salaki. But this is just something to remember to put in brothers' minds, all right? And the Lord probably having me bring this out just so brothers can't plead ignorance, myself included, all right? Again, it's say, let's actually do 19. It says, brethren, if any of you do err from the truth and one convert him, let him know that he which converteth the sinner from the error of his way shall save a soul from death and shall hide a multitude of sins. Right? In the NLT, dear brothers and sisters, if someone among you wanders away from the truth and is brought back, you can be sure that whoever brings the sinner back will save that person from death and bring about the forgiveness of many sins. Bring about the forgiveness of many sins of their own, right? Because again, we're all raggedy wretches, and our righteousness is as filthy rags, menstruous cloths. All right. Second Corinthians, then we're gonna close it out. 2 Corinthians 6. This is 2 Corinthians 6:1. And it reads, we then as workers together with him beseech you also that ye receive not the grace of power in vain. For he saith, I have heard thee in a time accepted, and in the day of salvation have I succored thee. Behold, now is the accepted time. Behold, now is the day of salvation. Giving no offense of anything, that the ministry be not blamed. And that's the point, right? And again, that's first and foremost to myself. You know, this verse 3, that you give no offense in anything, that the ministry be not blamed. But this is something that we all should remember, Akim. Right? Matter of fact, I'm gonna get one more. Let's get Sirach, or the book of Ecclesiasticus, or the book of Sirach, the 17th chapter. Brothers know this one. And 20, 24. But unto them that repent, he granted them return and comforted those that failed in patience. Right? 25 is the point. Return unto the Lord and forsake thy sins. Make thy prayer before his face and offend less. Right? And that's the point. We don't want to be offensive. All right. When you offend a brother, especially if you know that the Lord dealing with him, you know, brother or sister, then you offending the Lord, man. And that's just what it is. So anyway, I pray this lesson finds you well. I pray that it was edifying. Until next time, Shalom. Wa Abba Babal. Shalak Matah Babal.